Assalamu alaikum. What are the main types of static testing? Types of We have desk checking, walkthrough, formal inspection. These are the main types of static testing by humans. Desk checking. Any idea, Sultan? Technical reviews, formal technical reviews. Desk checking. What is the meaning of desk checking, Sultan Saifuddin? Desk checking is done by programmer by himself. So when programmer will test it before the quality assurance engineer or the tester, that is called the desk checking. It is done by the programmer, that is called the desk checking. So first you will test before you ask the quality assurance engineer to test. And the previous one, walkthrough and formal inspection, we already covered in the last chapter. Main advantages of desk checking. Programmer is the best person who knows the code because he is the author of the code and the programming language very well. Read and understand. No extra charges, no overhead cost for the desk checking. Then you have disadvantages. You know your code most than any other body, but you are not the best person to test because your code is your product and you don't want to identify mistakes in your code or in your product. They are not the best people to detect problems. So developers generally prefer to write new code rather than to perform testing. As a programmer, as a developer, it's your nature that you like to write new code rather than testing the previous code. So this method is person dependent and informal and does not work always. That are the disadvantages of desk checking. Walkthrough we already discussed. Formal inspection we already discussed. Figure inspection. Main people involved in formal inspection, we have author, we have moderator, we have inspector, we have scribe. Author who writes the code, moderator who runs the inspection, and inspector who will examine the code or the document, and scribe who will take the minutes of meeting. Main limitations: time consuming, cost consuming, and it is not possible to go through every line of the code if size of the software is large, like 50,000, 70,000, 100,000, million. It's difficult. Then you have structural testing. In structural testing, you try to consider the code structure, internal design, and how you have written the code. So structural testing involves the actual product against some predefined test cases to exercise the code. The main difference between structural and static, that tests are actually done by the computer on the built product, whereas in static testing, the product is tested by the human. Just source code, not the object code. So in structural testing, you can also run the code. Like you have unit complexity and code coverage. Unit we already discussed. So unit testing effort focuses on smaller units, modules, components. At component level, the design description as a guide, you check the control paths like if-else structure, loop structure, to uncover errors within the boundary of the module. Unit tests focus on the processing logic and the data structure. like stacks, arrays, queues. The type of testing can be conducted in parallel for multiple components. Unit test consideration. The module interface is tested to ensure that information properly flows into and out to. So data is importing and data is exporting. Local data structure, independent paths to the control structure like if else structure or switch case structure, select case structure. So you try to test the boundary conditions. At the boundary level, the data is exchanging between unit level data flow across a module interface by having dummy module at the other end without having the actual module to exercise to check that data is importing or data is exporting or not. Selective testing of execution path is essential during the unit testing. So you try to identify errors with respect to computation or incorrect control flow or incorrect arithmetic precedence like multiply, plus, minus, divide, incorrect initialization or accuracy like you have data type integer but it is required float or single or long or double. Unit testing is performed parallel to coding. Unit test can be performed before code begins or after the source code is generated. Each test case should be coupled with set of expected results outputs. You can use stub and driver, the dummy modules, for each unit test. Then you have code complexity. To check the complexity of the code with respect to control structure, sequence, selection, repetition, and we have a formula: cyclomatic complexity is equal to number of edges minus number of nodes plus 2, or we have number of predicate nodes plus 1. Anybody knows the predicate nodes? Predicate nodes are decision making nodes. Decision making nodes are called predicate nodes. Let me show you. Predicate nodes are decision making nodes and they are denoted as VG, vertices of the graph. Flow graph is drawn first to perform cyclomatic complexity. Like we have this flow graph. So these are edges with arrow sign, and these are the nodes. So either you can use nodes, so number of edges minus number of nodes plus 2, or you have decision making node plus 1. Answer should be the same. Let's, for this exercise, if you calculate, there are 11 edges and there are 9 nodes. So you have 11 minus 9 plus 2, or you have 3 decision making nodes. If you calculate from this graph, there are 3 decision making nodes plus 1. So that's the 4. So there are 4 independent paths. 4 mean 4 independent paths need tested for completion of the code coverage. Now moves to the black box. We just covered in the previous session that black box is functional testing or behavioral testing. So we test the behavior of the system We test the functioning of the system at the execution level. The test data is prepared to cover all inputs and outputs of the functions to test. Objective is to test all functional requirements of a software. So it is done without the knowledge of internals. We don't know the source code. Maybe we have only source code. Have only the object code. No source code is there. Like sometime we outsource it. Outsource some component. The software company from where we outsource, they will not give us source code. They will give us black box component to test. So we have only object code to test it. Black box testing tries to identify bugs, incorrect or missing function, interface errors, errors in the data structure or database access, behavior or performance error, initialization and termination errors. So these are the main objectives. These are the categories we try to identify bugs within this domain. Unlike white box testing, which is performed early, black box is testing at the later stages. So tests are designed to answer how is functional validity tested, how the system behave and performance tested, what classes of input will make good test case, a set of test cases to satisfy such criteria, like designing a test case that reduces the number of additional test cases, unique test cases, best case test cases, test case that report about the presence or absence of classes of errors. The main types of black box testing, we have requirement based testing, positive and negative testing, boundary value analysis, equivalence partitioning, compatibility testing, testing, and domain testing. These are the main types of black box testing. So let's go to the requirement. Requirement based testing, we have functional requirements in our functional specs, and we have a checklist in front of functional requirements. It could be serial number or requirements ID, detail of requirements, priority of the requirement, high, medium, and low. And we have requirement traceability metrics. Requirement ID, detail of requirement, priority, test condition, test case, phase of testing. That is the in the requirement traceability matrix. Then test execution data table is prepared. Serial number, requirement ID, test case, total test cases, test case pass, test case failed, percentage of pass, number of errors reported. That is in the test execution data table, TED. Then you have positive and negative testing. Positive testing to make sure that it is working as per the expectations, as per the specifications, with the intention to find errors, but not the objective to fail the system, to crash the system. So that is the positive. But negative, you try to fail the system by having invalid inputs. Invalid inputs, or you try to enter such data which will crash the system with the intention to crash. This is called negative testing. Unexpected input. So that is the positive and negative. Any question up to here? Requirement testing, positive and negative testing. Boundary value analysis. Boundary value analysis, we try to identify errors at the boundaries, at the edge of that system. For example, entering maximum value to test the behavior of the system. Behavior of the system. It could be positive value, it could be negative value at the edge of the system. That is called the boundary value analysis. So what happened in case we enter large value, positive large value? What happened when we enter negative large value? So we try to enter maximum value for the input in terms of positive or negative in case of numeric input, like banking application, like e-commerce application, like data type is properly placed as per the required, or you have used short range value and you need large range value to test the boundaries. Then you have equal partitioning. We have users of the system. We have top management, we have middle management, and we have lower management. From the customer side, in equal partitioning, we divide the data into classes. Divide the data, test data into classes as per the user category, as per the user type. Like you have one module, top management usage will be different, middle management usage will be different, lower management usage will be different. So for that type, you divide the data into classes, that what is top management functionality, what is the middle management functionality, and what is the lower management functionality. So according to the user type, we divide the test data into classes. That equal partitioning, it should be equally tested for each type of user. Customer top management, customers middle management, and customer lower management. Like ERP system, SAP, Oracle, Microsoft Dynamics, you have each module as a full system. HR module, payroll module, payment, inventory, financial, logistics, customer relationships, supply chain management. So like you have attendance, what is the usage of top management, what is the usage of middle management, what is the usage of lower management. Each user has different functionality for attendance. Payroll, each user have different usage. Like I am an employee of King Abdulaziz University. In the payroll system, we have a system, it's called ANGIS. ANGIS is responsible to display our salaries, our contracts. We can even apply for promotion. We can apply for example, leave, emergency leave. It's called Tarari in Arabic. My usage as a user is different. Then you have chairman. Chairman usage is different. You have dean, vice dean. Their usage is different. Then this module goes to the HR, human resource, to calculate salary or approve the leave or to calculate housing. All that usage is different from president, dean, chairman, as employee or staff. So in equalist partitioning, you divide the data into classes according to the nature of the user, and then you test it equally. Any question regarding the compatibility, equalist partitioning? Any question? Is it clear to everyone? Any question? Okay, then you have compatibility testing. We check the compatibility of our software on different hardware, different platforms. Like you have 32-bit machine, 64-bit machines. You have different operating system, Windows, Linux, Unix, Mac, Sun Solaris, Fedora. You have different web servers, Microsoft Server, IIS, Internet Information Server. You have Apache server. You have WAMP server. You have Java server. Java server web development kit is there, or you test it on Apache server. You have browsers. Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge, new browser. So you test the software on different hardware to check the compatibility, it is compatible or not, before you ask the customer to test. That is the compatibility testing. For example, database, Microsoft SQL, Oracle, MySQL, or you have cloud environment. You have a component for SOA, service oriented architecture. Service oriented architecture. So you have services, web services, mobile services. So this component is compatible with the cloud environment or Microsoft.NET or NetBeans or Eclipse. So you test it with different processors, like for example i5, i7, dual processors, or you have processor from other than Intel, Spark, RAM, space. This all you check system level with printer, with modem, with router. This all you check during the compatibility testing. You have user documentation testing. How many types of documentation we have? I already covered somewhere. Types of documentation. We have user documentation and we have system documentation. User and system. System documentation is also called technical documentation. Like you have planning document, project specs, function specs, design specs. Here we are talking about user documentation testing. That user manual or help file is explained properly, or it's available for the user or not. So correctly explained in the help file for the user. You may have frequently asked questions in the help file for the user, as you can see in the websites or different software, or in Office, you have question mark or to highlight. As you can see in the PowerPoint, there is a question mark. So you click on that, you will have the help file for the Office, for PowerPoint or Microsoft Word or Excel. So that is the user documentation testing. Then you have domain testing. In the domain testing, you try to test the business flow of the system. We also call it business vertical testing. Business vertical testing. Like testing of the banking system, like ATM system or internal banking system, or cash inflow, cash outflow, financial ledgers are there. So that's the domain testing to test the business flow, and it is also called business vertical testing. Let me show you one by one what we left. Boundary value analysis. Large number of errors occurs at the boundary of the input domain rather than the center. So boundary value analysis testing is conducted to identify bugs that happen at the boundaries, to check the upper limits and the lower bounds, lower limits of the input conditions to identify errors. Test cases are designed to exercise the maximum and minimum numbers in case of numeric input. Equalous partitioning divide the input domain into classes of data as per the types of user: top management, upper management, middle management, lower management, like in ERP system. Compatibility. Test cases results not only depend on product for proper functionality, but also the infrastructure. So we have parameters for hardware, software, or for other components, like processor, Pentium 3, Pentium 4, Core 2 Duo, Spark, architecture 32-bit machine, 64-bit machine, RAM, disk space, printers, modems, routers, Windows, Linux, Unix, middle tier like web server, cloud environment, architecture, application server, network server, backend Oracle, MySQL, Microsoft SQL Server, services, hardware come software solution like cluster machine, RAID, redundant array of independent disks, various technological components, software development kits, Java development kit, Microsoft.NET, user documentation. What is stated in the document is available as a help file in the product, and it is explained correctly in the document or not. So main benefits: highlight problems or overlooked during reviews, ensure consistency of documentation and the product, and minimize the possible defects reported by the customer. Domain testing is performed to test the business flow, and it is also called business vertical testing, such as cash inflows, cash outflows, debit, credit, ATM system is another example of domain testing. Okay, thank you very much. See you inshallah